I know it's evening. Today's been an odd, busy day. It's one of those days of what comes up comes down. Just was one of those things. But I want to talk a little bit about the fact that there's some people, some doctors, who look at brain injured individuals or even sick individuals and say, well, you look great for that. Though I know you're brain injured, you look fine. You don't look like you're really brain injured. We know our brain injury. Just like you have cancer, oh, you look great for a cancer patient. You know your diagnosis. You know what's going on. And thank God you look great. But you're still dealing with these things. I've had several doctors say, you look great. I don't think you need to be tested. I don't even think there's anything wrong with you. And I'm like, I dare you. Test me. They're like, I'm like, I dare you. Test me. And they do, and they're like, wow, you've got an injury, and this is what's going on. I said, yeah, because this injury, as I told you, is in this area. And I'll go through everything, and I'll tell them exactly where my brain is not functioning. And I'm trying to get better, and I'm trying to keep going, and they're not listening. It's just funny. It's funny when you know yourself. That's why I keep saying that's what every crux of the things that I do are, you get to know you. You get to know what's going on with you. You are aware of your body. You're aware of how your mind works. There's nobody who can take that away. The only thing people can do is give you suggestions. And then we look at the suggestions. Does it really good over our life? Or is it something that someone else can use? In any case, doctors are great. I love doctors. Don't get me wrong. I've had some great doctors. But if you're proactive enough, if you know you, and if you know what your body does, and you know what your reactions are, and you just know you enough to know how everything affects your body, then to go to the doctor is just mainly okay, doc, this is what's going on. And like I said before, the team effort. It's great when people can progress. And it's great when you can change things and you can come back. If you can overcome a disease, if you can just get back to some kind of norm. But then it's the support enough that people will sit there and instead of saying, oh, you look fine, you look great, you should be working, you should be doing this, and not understand what you're really going through every day. It's almost, you have to understand to give tolerance because people don't know. They're not in your shoes. They don't know what you're going through. I don't know what you're going through. You don't know what I'm going through, but I know it's a commonality that, yeah, we face these obstacles. We face people who think one thing about us and it's totally different. So what do? Well, do you get to know yourself? The next time you're out with somebody and they're like, oh, you look fantastic. Okay, thank you. That's a compliment. You should be working. You should not be just sitting around doing nothing, not even knowing what your routine is, not even knowing how you got to where you are right now from a devastating accident. But, oh, you should be doing this. Okay, well, you should be doing this. It's, people are always going to have opinions. But if you're true to yourself, if you keep moving, if you keep pushing, if you keep doing it, you'll be fine. It just takes a lot of time. And a lot of time to not absorb what people say, because sometimes they don't quite get it out in the right way. So they say it in one way and they mean it a different way. But everybody's different. And that's what most people don't keep in mind. They just say it. They say things and they don't realize that it could be sensitivity. It could be something that you're offended by that they don't even realize. I'm being nice, but you should be thinking. You should know me enough to know how I think, considering you're my friend, considering you should know. But that never happens. So I want to bring this tonight because there's so many times that we can walk through a door and people think that disability doesn't match because you're not debilitated. You're not in a brain fog. You're not halfway shot to the moon and confused. But you can still be brain injured and know your brain injuries or be sick and know your sickness, but you're not going to let it get you down. You're going to keep moving and pushing and trying, but you know where you are. So be true to you and know you're okay. Where you are is fine. And if you want to progress, progress. But don't let anybody else stand in your way of progressing. Keep going. You can do it. Anybody can keep going. Anybody can overcome anything, but it's time, and I know I have time. So, I feel bad for all the people that are trying so hard and keep getting the door shut in their face or keep having assumptions. There's no assumptions that are supposed to be done. We're supposed to be able to live a life without having people push you down. But I know it happens. It's just finding your strength within. So, have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow. Now I have to figure out what other stuff to talk about. I haven't figured out my next topic, but I think it could be about disappointment. I know these topics are very strange, and yeah, I could take apart medications, I could name each med, tell you each characteristic, but what are we dealing with right now? I can touch on things more and talk about everyday things, but we'll talk about disappointment, we'll talk about happiness, how to gain happiness, more of what life is and what everything is about. Because, things happen to people sometimes. It's just, what do you do with the wonderful gifts you have? Because God always will give you a gift. You have to find it. And once you find it, hey, then you nurture it. But what gift would you have? What gift do you think God gave you in the midst of all this? Because there's something He always gives you that's a positive, that's a good thing. And it's just finding that's your new way of life. It's your new aim. Instead of what you did before, what can you do now? It's a beautiful thing when you can find a bliss. I've tried finding blisses, and when you have something in your way that's negative, it's very hard to keep going and have your bliss. But you can. You can. It just takes a while to get through the negative part and to push it aside and to learn how to push it aside, especially in the midst of what you're doing. And then, bam, a wall. Bam, something happens. Okay. Step back again. Step back again. It's a never-ending battle. Or health-wise, your health gets worse. What do? Then you sit back, try to figure out what you can do from that, how to get better again, how to start again. We always have a never-ending process. But right here, right now, you do have a cheerleader in me. Okay? You do not give up on yourself. You just keep going. Every day is a new beginning. You thank God the night before, and you get up the next day and say, okay, what do you got for me today? And you know what? You make it into a fun adventure instead of a adventure. That's all I can tell you. I'm trying to survive. I'm trying every day. And it's hard. And it's tiring, and I just want to give up, but I can't. So I hope this helps you continue as well. Have a good night.